Hi dear students, in this video we will talk about ambiguity. First I will talk about what is ambiguity or the very word ambiguity. Then we will talk about its meaning or definition. Then we will talk about types of ambiguity, how many types are there. And at last we will talk about the examples of ambiguity so that you can get confirmed information about ambiguity and how this term is used in literature. So let's start with the term ambiguity. Dear students, this is hash 7 literary terms ambiguity and you are watching literature simply. Dear students, first let's talk about the very word ambiguity. Ambiguity, this word first appeared in 14th century in English and its meaning was doubtfulness, hesitation, uncertainty and indecision. If you look at the meaning of this word, it's very simple. It is first used in 14th century, around 14th century in English, and the meaning is doubtfulness, or we can now consider it as the multiple meaning. A word with multiple meaning is called ambiguity. Now first this word came from Old French, and here we have ambiguity in Old French, and from the same we have in Latin ambiguitum, and its meaning again is equivocal, double sense and double meaning. So again this word refers to double sense or double meaning or multiple meanings in a statement or in a word. If you using a word may have different types of meaning, and for that this word ambiguity is used. Now dear students, it is thought to be a fault in style, and later William Emerson composed a book called Seven Types of Ambiguity in 1930, and he defended ambiguity as a source of poetic richness rather than fault. If you look at this term or the development of the term ambiguity in literature, first this term, according to many scholars, used to denote a fault in a style or a fault in writing. But later in 1930, William Emerson, a major critic of the 20th century, composed a book called Seven Types of Ambiguity, and in that Seven Types of Ambiguity, he defended the very ambiguity used in literature, and he defended it as it imparts richness to the meaning in the literature, or it has a very pivotal role in shaping the style of a writer if a writer uses ambiguity. And from there this ambiguity used in literature in a positive manner. Before that it was considered a fault, because clear meaning is very important in literature, and ambiguity imparts vagueness of meaning, and there we find difficulty in understanding to this term or the ambiguity. Now let's talk about the meaning, and I derived this definition from Chris Baldick's Oxford Dictionary of Literary Terms, and here he says that ambiguity is openness to different interpretations or an instance in which some use of language may be understood in diverse ways, sometimes known as plurisignation or multiple meaning. Now, if you look at this definition, we will understand the very basic meaning of the word ambiguity is it denotes multiple meaning or more than one meaning. So, there are at least two meanings through a word or a sentence, and it is openness to different types of interpretations. What are the important words in this definition by Chris Baldi? Let's consider them. Here you have different interpretations, plurisignation or multiple meaning. Again, these three terms are important. Here diverse interpretation, multiple interpretation, different types of interpretation, double meaning, double sense in a sentence or in a work or of a word. And again plurisignation is another term, or we can say that it's equal to ambiguity. Multiple meaning is equal to plurisignation, means again you have double sense of the word, double sense of the sentence, or double sense of the term used in literature. So this is a very simple to understand what is ambiguity. It's openness to different interpretations. Next definition we have M.H. Abrams and Geoffrey Harpams. It is derived from a handbook of literary terms, and they say in ordinary usage ambiguity is applied to a fault in style, that is the use of a vague or equivocal expression when what is wanted is precision and particularity of reference, the use of a single word or expression to signify two or more distinct references or to express two or more diverse attitudes or feelings. Now let's understand the important words in this definition so that we can dissect the definition. Here we have fault in style. As I already mentioned that many scholars considered it as fault in writing, fault in style, fault in that author's writing skill, and hence it is not famous among literary men or the authors or poets, but latter it is considered a very important term in literature when Seven Types of Ambiguity is published, a book composed by William Emerson in 1930, and from there it is used in literature. Again, here we have the use of a vague or equivocal expression. Now, this ambiguity denotes the use of vague language, the vague vocabulary, and equivocal kind of things in literature. Means there are double meaning, multiple meanings. A word carry more than one meaning, so there are two meanings of a word or multiple meanings of a word. These kind of things you find in ambiguity. Again, there it signifies two or more distinct references or to express two or more diverse attitudes or feelings. Not only this word expresses feelings, but you have attitudes, more than two attitudes, more than two feelings, more than two meanings, and diverse kind of things are expressed through this ambiguity or through this type of words used in literature, and hence literature gained popularity, and this popularity comes through the use of different types of devices, and it is one of the device ambiguity or one of the term famously used in literature. And in this ambiguity you find puns. Puns also carry multiple meanings, more than one meaning you have in pun, and this type of puns are used in ambiguity. Ambiguity is similar to the multiple meanings or equivocal meanings in a sentence or through a word. Now, how this ambiguity used in literature? So it is found in character, in story, plot, phrase or word, sentence, etc., in picture or image or through a situation. So ambiguity is based on these different types of things used in literature. You have ambiguous characters, you have ambiguous story, you have ambiguous plot. Ambiguity is arised from a situation, particular kind of situation. It is also have in an image or in a picture. So ambiguity is used on multiple levels in character, story, through different types of words, through different types of sentences, plot structure. So these kind of things you have in ambiguity. So ambiguity found in all these kinds in literature. So here you see a simple example in the picture that call me a taxi please. A person tells to other women, and just see understand these words call me a taxi means you want me to get you a taxi or tell you you are a taxi. Now it's very simple. Call me a taxi means you can find a taxi for me, I want to use the taxi, or simply you can call me taxi. Here the person is saying that my name is taxi. So these kind of things happen when ambiguity arises in the sentence. Now it is important to understand what kind of ambiguity is there in these words. So we have different types of ambiguities. Now what are the types of these ambiguities? Let's understand. Here very first type we have lexical ambiguity, and it arises from the meaning of the word. For example, come thou mortal wretch. Mortal means fatal and death. Or again, next example we have on the bank. So here bank refers to the bank of river, or again it refers to the financial thing. So bank relates to money. So here we have, if you are saying on the bank means you are referring to a bank on the river or a river bank, or you are referring to the financial transaction. Bank means where these financial transactions happen. These kind of things are there in the word on the bank, or these bank words have two types of meanings, bank of river and the financial bank. So again next type is syntactical ambiguity, or the same is called as structural ambiguity. Let's understand that syntactical ambiguity. And it is dependent on sequence of words or sentences. For example, call me a cab means to find a cab for me, or my name is cab. Again, it is similar to the example we cited before, that call me a taxi. Here, call me a cab means you can find a cab for me. I want to use that cab. I want to travel through that cab, or you can call me just cab. My name is cab, or you have this multiple meanings in this words. Call me a cab. Now, this kind is structural ambiguity. So, this ambiguity is based on the structure or syntactical level of the sentence. Next type we have structural and lexical ambiguity, and it is the combination of the both types. Means these types you find in single sentence or single word. This kind of things you have in structural or lexical ambiguity. Lexism means it is related to the vocabulary or related to the word, and syntactical means it is related to structure. So you have syntactical and lexical ambiguity, and there is again next type, that is phonological ambiguity. Means this ambiguity arises from the sound. If you utter a word or if you pronounce a word, that kind of thing may bring ambiguity in the word, or this ambiguity is exposed through the sound. Let's understand an example. For example, the word see, S-E-A. See means you know the meaning of see. If I am just pronouncing the word see, you are not able to understand what kind of see I am referring. If I am referring S-E-A or if I am referring S-E-E. See means looking, and see means if you are referring to the ocean or a very big kind of water body. So this is see means you have double meaning the word, and where you are using this word, the context gives it meaning, and hence it becomes ambiguous. So context is very important, and this is the example of phonological ambiguity. Means ambiguity arises from the sound. So these are the basic four types in literature of ambiguity. If you are considering ambiguity, just you need to consider whether it is lexical ambiguity, structural ambiguity, or the combination of both, and last, phonological ambiguity. Now let's understand the examples. There are so many examples of ambiguity, because ambiguity became famous in literature, and many poets, many authors, literary men use this ambiguity to impart a solidness to their literature. And here we have Shakespeare, who used this ambiguity, or we can find ambiguity in the works of Shakespeare. So we have Antony and Cleopatra, and it is in the Act 5th, Scene 2nd. Cleopatra excites the asp. Asp is a venomous snake found in Egypt, and just she excites, or just she calls to this asp, "Come, thou mortal wretch, with thy sharp teeth, this knot intrinsicate of life at once untie, poor venomous fool, be angry and dispatch." Now here we have words used, for example, mortal. Here we have multiple meanings of the word mortal: fatal and death dealing. Second, we have the word wretch, which incites the contempt and pity, both kind of feelings we have in the word wretch. And the last word we have dispatch, means make haste or kill. So this kind of double meanings you have in the words. So this kind of ambiguity is found in Shakespeare's plays. Now we have Shakespeare's very famous character called Hamlet. So Hamlet itself is an example of the ambiguity, because his thoughts are not clear, his actions are not clear, and many times we find that he is in a dilemma, and he thinks about different types of things in his mind, and hence he becomes a character who exposes the ambiguity, and hence we can say that it is an ambiguous character, or ambiguity is involved in the character of Hamlet. Hamlet represents ambiguity. So this is a very nice example of the character of ambiguity. Next, dear students, we have James Joyce's Fine Guns Wake, a novel composed in 1939, and here he refers to girls young and easily fraudulent. And here again the meaning of this young, Y-U-N-G, the spelling is spelled here, means Carl Jung, who was a psychologist. And again this young, the very word Young, it is related to the age. Again, the next word is frightened, means frightened, and it is refers to Sigmund Freud, again a psychologist. Now, next we have John Keats' Ode on Grecian Urn, and we have lines, "Thou still unravished bride of quietness." Here the word still is used as even at or immobile, means not moving. Still means not moving. Again, still means even at, up to this time, still up to this time. So these two meanings we have in the word still used by John Keats. And again, next we have very famous examples of the ambiguity. You might have heard about flying planes can be dangerous, means flying planes, the planes or the aeroplanes which are flying above the sky are dangerous, or if you are a pilot and you are flying a plane can be dangerous. These two meanings are included in this very flying planes can be dangerous statement. Next we have English teacher. Now again, same kind of ambiguity we find. English teacher refers to types. Very first, we have two meanings. Very first meaning is teacher of English, a teacher who teaches English, and second, the teacher from England is English teacher. Means by race he is an Englishman. So these two meanings we have. Next example we have hunting dogs. They are hunting dogs. Again, they are hunting dogs means you are referring to the dogs who are hunting. Are you getting the meaning? You are referring to the dogs who are hunting, or you are referring the people, you are referring the men who are hunting the dogs, who are run behind the dogs. So these two meanings we have in the same statement. They are hunting dogs. So dear students, I think these examples are enough to understand what is ambiguity. Still, if you have any problem, any query, you can comment below in the comment section, or you can directly go to our website called literaturesimimply.com and understand there, read there more about this type of terms and history of English literature.